Welcome back.
All right, well, today we're on location again. I mean, this is gonna be
sketchy ass parking lot.
Yeah, we're in a parking lot for reasons, and you'll hear about them in just a few minutes. But today we're in Walled Lake. We are at the greenhouse, and today we're gonna talk to the owner and founder, Jerry. He's been doing it for quite a little bit, so you don't want to hear us talk anymore. You want to hear the good stuff. Let's just cut to Jerry.
Let's get to him. We have on owner and founder of the greenhouse in Walled Lake, Jerry Millen. How's it going?
Woo! All right, yeah! Happy to be here, man. Thank you.
It worked out great.
All right, so Jerry, tell us about you and how you got into this industry and just a little bit of your background.
How much time we got?
However sure what you want.
We got as much time as you want.
I'll give it to you quick. Started in radio and TV at a little cable show in Wayne, Michigan, where I grew up when I was like 15 years old. Got into radio, went to Specs Howard on a scholarship. It was a broadcasting school. It's not, I don't think it's around anymore.
No, it's not.
Really?
Nope, yep. Yeah, it became part of like Lawrence Tech or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, just absorbed into it. Okay.
Absorbed into that because Specs
Sure.
passed away. Worked at a little TV station in Toledo, Ohio, hosting a live television game show, which is corny, but it taught me how to be
Right up my alley.
on camera. Yeah, so
Right.
it was a low power TV. It was like Weird Al TV has a movie called UHF.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a whacked out old school TV station.
Okay.
But so that's what I worked at for a while. I was doing radio the whole time. Did radio for a long time. Had a couple opportunities. I always wanted to work at MTV, and I got an audition there. There was three of us that auditioned. Carson Daly got the job. Fucking
Wow.
dickhead.
Wait, so,
Oh,
hold
I
on,
shouldn't say that.
no,
Can
you can
part?
say that.
No, you can say whatever you want.
We're going to send this directly to him. Don't worry.
This is for you, Carson.
No, Carson ain't shit now. But no, so he got that job. I was
So
up
for the TRL job? Is that?
with Carson came as a VJ.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
that's what taught me about the entertainment industry. Carson Daly got that job because the boss at MTV at the time was a guy named Andy Schoen. He used to run K-Rock, which is a radio station in LA.
Okay.
Carson did afternoons at K-Rock in LA. Same time I was doing afternoons at K-Rock, 97.1 was a rock station here in Detroit, but Andy Schoen wasn't my boss. Andy Schoen left K-Rock LA, went to New York, ran MTV. They were looking for a new VJ, brought three dudes out. I was one of the three. Carson got the job. That's how many know about entertainment.
That's how we knew
A lot of it's who you know. How good you are keeps you there.
Absolutely.
So three of us were brought in. Carson Daly got the job. I learned how entertainment was, and that's the way the world goes. I was up for VH1 via VJ there. It was me, Moon Zappa, which was Frank Zappa's daughter,
Right.
and Corey Glover, the lead singer of Living Color. You remember them?
Oh, yeah.
So at one point, VH1 was going to go younger, so they brought me in. I was going to be the white dude. It was going to be me, Moon, and Corey. They did a focus group. They said, we're not going to scale younger now. Nobody wanted VH1 to go younger, so I got the job, and I lost it like 3 days later.
Oh,
so that sucks. So I kept plugging away, did radio in Detroit for a long time. Then I became a sportscaster at UPN 50 and CBS 62 for about 8-9 years. During that time, Ken Shamrock and Don Fry were coming through Detroit promoting a company called Pride Fighting Championships, and I knew Ken from WWE.
Yep.
And so Jackie Callan, that's a quick story. Jackie Callan, female boxing promoter, was James Toney's manager. There's a movie about her called Against the Ropes by Meg Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
So her son, Brad Callan, who was at the party you were at last night DJing, that's her son. He's
Oh,
one of
is
my
that
best
him?
friends. Yeah,
Okay,
that's her
right
son.
on.
So she called me and said, hey, this thing's coming through Detroit called Pride Fighting Championships. They want to do can you do some press for them? And I said, I want to do a favor. So I said, yeah, I'll do you a favor, Jackie. Went to the story. They sent me a VHS tape of Pride, and I watched dudes beating the shit out of each other. I mean, these guys are killing each other. This is awesome.
Sure.
Did the story. And then, so this is kind of weird. So I did a story for them, and it aired in, here in Detroit, and then I sent it to them, and then CBS and UPN 50 shut down television operations here in Detroit. There is no news on UPN 50 anymore.
Right.
Or CBS 62.
I remember when
They
UPN
just
50 was a
relaunched.
thing.
Yeah,
I remember that.
we were home with the
When I
Red
was a
Wings,
kid.
home with the Tigers.
Yeah,
We were banging
I
for
remember
minute.
that.
They shut down news operations, but at the same time, I got a job and an audition to go out to E. So I went out to LA. So I got a nice severance package from CBS for leaving, and it all just kind of happened. Went to work for E. I was out at E for a little while. Hated it. Everybody in Hollywood they're crazier than you think.
Oh, I believe
if you
it.
think Hollywood is crazy, all the shit you see on TV, it's 100 times worse.
In real
Oh,
life.
don't say that.
No, dude, I'm
Right.
telling you, it's 100 times worse. Like, there's the weirdest people.
I'll keep it Midwestern.
Yeah, I could have been. I could have stayed. I didn't want to stay. I called my agent and said, "Get me the F out of here."
Right.
Yeah.
So then I went to New York and I worked for a show called Extra. And Extra was cool. They pay you a lot of money, but you're only talent. That's it. And being talent only sucks because your job can go that quick.
Sure.
Okay.
So I was only talent, couldn't produce stuff because when I was at E, I had to produce and on air. And then here in Detroit, I was on air and produce. There I was just on air. So I was bored. Like, I was getting paid good money for some days I worked 5 minutes doing a voiceover. I'm like, this sucks. The Japanese called me because they got the interview I did for them. Then they saw me on E, and then they saw me on Extra. I'm like, oh, Jerry's a big deal. We want a job. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? You want to be the host and be the producer? I go, I can't do both. I go, I got to do one or the other. This jet lag will kill me. What's the host pay? What's the producer pay? Producer pays more, of course, and then you're your boss. I'm like, well, I don't want to be the boss. I don't want to get fired.
Right.
Took that job on and did that for about 9 years, I think I worked for Pride. So I've been to Tokyo 260 times because I would commute. I had an apartment in LA, so I'd commute 2-3 times a month. And you want to talk about jet lag? I had like 2 million miles flown. Did that. They fired my Japanese bosses. They made me the vice president of the company. We lasted for a couple of years. We had a Yakuza scandal, which is a Japanese mob.
Yeah.
Got kicked off regular television. So we didn't last long. The UFC came in and bought us. We were bigger than the UFC, but then when we got kicked off
Pride
TV,
fighting was?
Oh my God.
What year was that?
Oh my God, 2002.
Okay.
And they would want to see the videos we made. We were all cool. And then we had the Yakuza scandal. They saw an opportunity. They came in and bought us because Lorenzo's richer than God.
Yep.
And because Lorenzo Fertitta was the real owner of the UFC.
Okay.
Dana White, they met in high school. Dana White had nothing.
Yep.
So I got all kinds of stories about Dana White.
Oh man, that'll be a whole other podcast.
We'll bring it for a second one on that one.
So Pride went away. I was close to a lot of the fighters, Quentin and Vanderlei, and everybody went to the UFC because the contracts were carried over. But the one guy didn't have a contract named Fedor Emelianenko. So Fedor was like, Jerry, I don't want to go to the UFC. I hate Dana's an ass. So I said, I agree. He goes, you want to come work with me in Russia? Will you manage me? I'm like, okay. So I went to Russia for about 5 years and helped him run a company called M1. They had some problems with money, so I stepped back from that. Fedor retired. In the meantime, I'd always been working in the background with cannabis for the past 20 years. Even when I was in Japan, I wanted, because I was traveling so much, I had young kids, and they were growing up, and I'm on a plane to Japan, and I'm like, this is just too much. And the money was good. I got to find another career. Bunch of knuckleheads I knew were making money in the black market in weed.
I was going to say, because it obviously has not been legal for too long.
Exactly. So I'm like, I can do what they do, and I think I'm a little bit smarter than these guys. This is going to go legal. Nobody believed me. I go, it's going to happen. So after college and high school, I stopped smoking weed because I thought that's for stoners. I believed the government's like, oh, it's bad for people. It's going to kill you. It's going to make you rape women and shoot people and watch Reefer Madness. And like, what? So I believed all that hype. And that thinking I could be brainwashed, even though I was in the media. And I was brainwashed from a child. And so I got into marijuana, and I started going to Compassion Club meetings. And there was a guy in Brighton called Doug. What was his name? Doug, I can't remember. But older guy, and he would have Compassion Club meetings in the Brighton library.
Okay.
So I started growing the plant, learned how to grow it. I hate growing marijuana. Started using a little bit more, started meeting people. Only was going to do this as a business. Started going to these Compassion Club meetings at the library in Brighton.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought I was going to be the oldest dude there. There'd be a bunch of kids drinking Mountain Dew, eating Doritos. I walk in.
Stoned.
No, seriously. I walk in, it's all old people. I'm like, wow, this is weird. And they got.
It's not what they tell you in the media, right?
No,
that's not it.
Exactly.
They were like 20 old people, and they were showing films. They were talking about their stories. I'm like, oh, this is weird. And one old lady talked about how they raided her house because she had 10 plants on her back porch. She was a grandmother. There was a veteran there. They took his car. They seized his bank account because back then the Gestapo would come out for weed and shut you down. And I'm listening to all these crazy stories. I'm like, this is some bullshit. Like, what? This woman's house was raided for some plants? What? And then I went to 4 meetings and no one would talk to me. And I'm like, well, this is even weirder. So I walked up to this little grandmother after the 4th meeting. I go, ma'am, did I do something wrong? Nobody will talk to me. She's like, oh, honey, we thought you were the cops. They thought it was like some 21 Jump Street shit.
Right.
And that I was coming in undercover.
Doing like a yellow undercover.
Like,
Get their addresses, figure out where they live, take their stuff.
I want to hear the story. Totally changed my opinion on marijuana. It wasn't just about a business. This helps people. I'm like, well, this is crazy. So joined a group, the NCIA, National Cannabis Industry Association, and started lobbying. And I lobbied for like 10 years, man. I paid off all the politicians in their general campaign fund to make this legal. That's what you do. So I started doing that, and then I found this place here in Walled Lake. Because Walled Lake and Ann Arbor were the only 2 places where licenses were legal. They gave licenses locally, but there were no state licenses.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I knew a guy that had a store. There were 3 stores here, 2 doors down. Bouchard, the sheriff in Oakland County, came and raided him a couple times. Well, he got spooked, the guy down the street, and wanted to sell it. And he's like, hey, I knew him. You want to buy it? I'm like, no. He goes, I'm going to shut it down. I'm like, I knew it would go back in escrow. I'm like, why would I pay you for it if you're going to close down?
Get it for cheaper.
Go back to the city.
Yep.
So I started looking around. I saw this building for sale. Met with a guy. I bought this building for like $200,000 years ago.
Good location.
Great
Yeah,
location.
I just sat on it, saying, okay, now we got to get it legal. So I sat on it for like 5 years. Every season you'd see coming spring of 2016, coming winter of 2017. It was like a running joke.
Right, what the hell is coming?
Right,
we don't know.
But we're lobbying, so we got medical passed. I helped write the rules for medical, for dispensaries and stuff. I was on the board for the state, and we helped write the rules, and we put the rec on the ballot, that one. I worked on that heavily. I'm on the board for the Michigan Cannabis Industry Association. And that's pretty much the nutshell of my crazy life.
So when you opened this, was this just medical then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was not. We've added on.
Sure.
And we were one of the first in the state. We were the first in Oakland County, medical and first recreational in Oakland County. So, yeah, we were killing it. We killed it. We're still good. There's some nefarious characters that have entered the industry here. I won't say who, but most of the people know who I'm talking about. And they're running them like party stores and gas stations.
Sure.
And that's not how I sell cannabis. If you go on my floor here at the Greenhouse Walled Lake, you will see 80 and 90-year-olds every day. I was just invited to Fox Run, which is a big retirement community, really high end. I just gave a speech, like a seminar to them. There's like 80 people jammed into a room. These old people want it because they've been brainwashed. They're in pain. Some of them are dying.
Yep.
They can't sleep. We got stuff for sleep. We got stuff for pain. We got stuff for people that are dying. We have something here that's going to help everybody. And even if it's recreational, a lot of people come in here and use it and find out when they use it recreationally, there's a medical benefit. Like I use it for sleep. I take so much CBD, CBN, and THC combination in these Wana gummies. I sleep like a champ.
Absolutely. I mean, I originally, kind of same type of thing. Like when I was a kid, it was taboo to smoke pot, right? Like cocaine was
you didn't do it, right?
I didn't know. I didn't do it at all.
Never.
No, swear to God. I had buddies that would smoke in high school, never did it because I thought it was so taboo. And then it was always, when I took over at the bar, it was like, staff would do it. They'd go out to their car, and I was like a stickler about it because it wasn't legal. And again, being in that situation where I'm a bar owner and stuff like that, I don't want to bring any more like media or scrutiny or problems.
Oh God, dude,
right?
right there. You got a bullseye on you.
Right,
In a bar or a
exactly.
dispensary, you got a bullseye.
Exactly, but as soon as they passed the law, they're like, this is illegal. I'm like, well, I'm going to give some gummies a try. So my mom passed away, and I was having a really hard time sleeping. So I was like, how can I just shut off my brain to just relax at night? And I think Wana was actually like the first brand I started taking. I'd pop one of those.
Sleep gummies are phenomenal.
Yeah, and I'd take one, and I would just sleep nice and just carefree. And then I started discovering that, like, I'd take them, and actually, my knee feels better.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right. You know what I mean? Because, like, everyone gets that stigma that
You
pot
can
is...
overuse anything. You can abuse water. You can die
Absolutely.
drinking too much water.
Yep.
It's
You can drown yourself.
Stupid is stupid, and it is a medicine.
It is.
is,
But
like you
wait,
said.
no, it's a gateway drug.
You know what? And what's funny about that?
fucking
You know
the
they-
munchies.
You know what they say about that? Like Sanjay Gupta is?
Yeah.
Sanjay
Oh, yeah.
Gupta.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So he's done like 3 or 4. I think it's 4 now. It's called Weeds. It's been on CNN, even though I'm a big CNN fan. But it's on CNN. And he just did another one called Senior Moment with Anderson Cooper, where they followed 90-year-olds into dispensaries, and they showed that these 90-year-olds going, look, I'm 90 years old, man. This thing makes me, I can get up in the morning, I can move around.
absolutely, man.
People in wheelchairs, but like, speaking of like when your mom was passing away, my mom was passing away, and I was the same way.
My mom smoked pot to the day she died, by the way. She thought she hid it from me. I'd walk out in the garage, there'd be a cloud of smoke, and I'm like, Mom, what is that? And she's like, oh, your dad was just out here smoking a cigarette. I go, that's weird.
Was there a skunk
Right.
out there
I was like,
too?
is there a skunk? Like, what the fuck kind of cigarette are you smoking, Mom? Yeah, and then even in the nursing home in her last days, she'd be out in the middle of the cul-de-sac by herself, and I'd walk out there to visit her, and she just sitting there. I'm like, I don't think, fuck it.
Yeah,
Whatever. I mean, like,
because you didn't know. Like,
Right,
okay.
exactly.
I use a vape pen. I'm not a big fan of vape pens, but
Sure.
when my mom was sick for a couple of years and she was passing away, I had a vape pen next to the bed because I was so stressed out. They wanted to put me on Xanax. I don't take any.
No.
I don't take any pharmaceuticals unless I have to.
right.
I
I don't go to the doctor unless something's broke.
Right. I'm not going to
or
take
injured.
Xanax. And nope. Hey, if you take Xanax or whatever, that's on you.
Yeah, it is what it is.
If it helps you, more power to you.
Sure.
I don't want to take that stuff.
Yep.
If weed helped me through that, weed's good.
Yeah.
And it helped me through it. And I have run a successful business. I have a family. I travel like a madman. I'm not falling apart. Could you call me a stoner? Absolutely. I use cannabis every day to sleep. Sometimes it's at night to relax. I don't drink.
Sure.
I don't drink at all anymore. I mean, once in a while, but it's all cannabis for me.
And the thing with it too is you don't get that hangover. You
Not
know what
at all. I wake up.
Like you smoke and you take an edible or something, you still get that like I'm here to party, having a great time. But you wake up ready to hit the gym and take on the world and have meetings and scheduling and stuff like that.
I'll
the
use
next day.
cannabis when I work out.
That's what I was telling her.
man, because working out is boring. I don't know anybody that says I love going to the gym because they're lying.
For
That's
so
bullshit.
Yep.
So I'll take a gummy sometimes before I go to the gym.
It is.
I won't drive afterwards. Don't worry, I don't get that high.
Right.
So, but there's so many benefits to it. That's why I love meeting people that are against it and having a conversation. I'm like, look, you can be against whatever you want. Don't take that right away from somebody else.
No.
Especially if it's not hurting anybody. Sure. Can somebody get behind a wheel high and kill somebody? Absolutely. But that's an idiot. That's the same person who will take a prescription drug and get behind a wheel and kill somebody. Or go and drink too much and get behind it. You can't stop stupid. That's the thing.
And I think also that there's two types of people out there: the people that understand what it can do for you, and the people that want to just get high and just sit there and go off into space.
Right.
And they're two different types.
And
of
I like
people.
doing
I have no
both.
problem with either one.
Right.
Just don't drive or operate
Exactly.
machinery.
Be smart. It's the same as if you're going to have a few beers while you're out at the bar or something like that. be smart.
Yeah.
You know, either sober up a little bit, get somebody else to give you a ride. Like same
Yeah,
thing
that's
with
why,
weed.
like in your business, my business, I sell it and they take it home and use it.
Sure.
Like your business, you got to be paranoid
Right, it's
every
on
night.
premise,
When
exactly.
your place closes, you got to go to bed going, okay.
Right.
Everybody makes it
Everyone
home
get
okay. Because
safe.
I have to be responsible. Everybody came to my place and took a beer.
Yep.
Which is insane.
Absolutely.
There's no responsibility. You know, and it's on you. Because I know the regulations you're under.
Yep.
Which are crazy.
Yep.
You think yours are crazy?
Right.
This shit in weed.
Oh, I'm sure.
The regulations
I'm sure it's
weren't here in
tenfold.
Michigan with the CRA and all that. Oh my God, dude! Like literally,
can only imagine.
you can't touch that package right now behind the counter.
Really?
You had to sign in to be in here.
Yeah, we did. We had
Well,
to
yeah,
sign
that's
in
what
everything.
we had to sign
Yeah,
in and
you
everything.
sign in,
And
you
even
have
when he was like, all right, go ahead and set up, I'm like, am I allowed to go back there? I'm looking, I got cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, luckily I know Jerry.
Dude,
so
it's
like,
crazy.
I'm just going to walk back here.
The regulations are crazy. People always try to mess with you,
Yep.
anti-weed people or people that are just crazy. You get it. You
They're
don't
just,
go to a bar.
absolutely. And honestly, it's the people that want to mess you or the people that are uneducated too.
Oh,
know what I mean?
absolutely. There's a
Like-
woman. I'll give you an example. We do something with the Girl Scouts every year.
Yeah, I've seen you post your videos up. We're out
'cause I
there.
used to be a Cub
What
Scout.
goes better, pot and cookies?
Right. I used to be a Cub
Like,
Scout.
Amazing marketing plan, by the way.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
I used to be a Cub Scout. You know, the Cub Scout that smokes weed now, which is crazy. I skipped over one big thing, which is the funniest thing ever. Right after high school, I hosted a show on PBS. I forgot to tell you what it's called. Club Connect. It was a national PBS show. It was like, stay in school, don't do drugs.
yes.
And here I am now doing television. Like,
Can we get a clip of that and put it in with this?
It's on, dude, it's on YouTube.
We need to find it.
It's on there.
I'll find it.
Somebody just found a bunch and put them on YouTube. I ain't seen them in 30 years.
Oh,
I'm like,
that's
my God,
funny.
who put this shit up?
Who's that young guy?
Right. But
So you bought a building in Brighton.
Yes.
The plan was to do basically this, but
no,
Brighton.
no,
Okay.
it really wasn't. And that was the problem. So what happened in Brighton was the opportunity came to buy the Rollison's building.
Yep.
I said, okay, got a great deal on it, I bought it. And I'm like, all right, well, I didn't want anybody to know I bought it because I'm like, as soon as people know I bought it, the weed guy's coming. Oh, they're bringing weed. The devil's coming to Brighton. Here
That's
comes
it.
the devil.
Because you fought a lot of red tape in Walled Lake.
Oh, yeah,
You know?
yeah, I did in the beginning, but now I work with the city like this.
Right,
I'm
now-
on the
now you're a
DDA.
staple, exactly.
They invited me on the
Yep.
DDA.
That's awesome.
We're the major sponsor of the fireworks.
I was about to say that, yeah.
That's
Yep.
us.
That's awesome.
This community gets it. You know, Brighton.
Until they didn't always.
No,
They
no.
needed
And-
some convincing. Because again, everybody thinks that.
Well,
you
they had
think back
licenses
to,
here before it was state licenses.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, they were way ahead. They were like Ann Arbor. They had license here because I had a license.
Oh,
I
you
sat
said
out
that.
for 7 years until
Oh,
it went.
and
I didn't
okay.
open. Like literally, I didn't open. Well, probably about 4. I didn't open for 4 years. I gave up probably. I bet you, $15 million cash.
I believe it.
Profit easy because there was no record keeping at that point. There was no metric system. Nothing. You could just buy weed and sell it. But technically, it was illegal, and I knew the sheriff would come to me. Remember, I got kids, man. My family
Right, you're
means
like,
more to
that's,
me
I'm
than any
not.
money.
Yeah, you're not gambling with that.
No, I'm not gambling with that. But where was I going?
So you were in Brighton, and
Yeah, so I said, you know what? I bought the building, and then a good reporter from the Livingston County Press and Argus did her research and found out who bought the building, and she found me. She's like, hey, you bought the building, and at that point, you have to own it.
Yeah.
I can't run. I'm not going to run the fact that I own a marijuana store. I didn't
Right.
want it to be broadcast that I had a plan,
Right.
but I didn't buy it specifically for that. I bought it for possibly, but it was an investment building.
Sure.
And then I came in, and you'd have thought I brought the devil with me. Like, and now I can talk about it because it's bullshit. So, came in, and she wanted to do a full story on the whole thing. I said, let's go, fuck it, let's just do it.
What do I have to hide, right?
She came in, I was in the window, picture front page of the paper. But I never said in there I wanted to have a marijuana store. I said, if it gets legal in Brighton, maybe we'll put one there. That's all
Sure.
I said. The city manager at the time, I forgot his name, he goes public with a press release about me.
I remember that.
You know, and I'm like, what a jackass. Like, why won't you call me first?
Right.
But he's a politician. Technically, he is. He's a city council. He's
Sure.
a city manager.
Sure.
Why wouldn't you call the person that you have a question about? Because the shit you read in the paper maybe isn't what I said, or you misread it.
Right.
Call me and ask me. But he puts out a press release about me. I'm like, really? So I call him out of courtesy and said, what's the deal? He's like, why don't we meet? I said, yeah, why don't we meet? So I sat down with him in the park with one of his head planners, and he's like, I just don't think weed should be on Main Street. I go, well, it is in Walled Lake, and guess what? We've had 0 problems.
I guess that kind of makes me. Let me run point here for a second.
oh wow, this is first. All right, Nick,
What,
here we go.
what is greenhouse versus corporate weed? What is that? I see it on your shirts. I see it on signs. I see it on grinders.
Yeah, you know,
plates, everything.
It
Where'd that
started
come
off-
from?
Corporate weed. I mean, look, I'm a corporation, so
Mm-hmm.
legally I'm a corporate weed. When I first got into it, there was a lot of people that would approach me that wanted to get into it just for money, and I did in the beginning. But once I realized it's a medicine and helps people, man, it's so much better. Like, you're helping people and you're making a living.
100%.
When you
Who
get that
else does
mindset too, you know, Craig and I were talking about this last night. You get that mindset of like, you run a business, you're going for money, 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 and you almost lose sight of actually what matters. And once you actually start getting that connection with people, and you see like all the benefits from pot and
Yes.
stuff like that, like then all of a sudden, like, yes, the money comes with it, but also now you're enjoying the outcome and the results that you're seeing with people, and then that's what your business becomes about. It doesn't become chasing that dollar anymore. It becomes helping people.
Right, yeah, and I'll be honest, man, we crushed it. Like, we've been open 5 years, and we were one of the first stores to open, man, and we were doing 1,500 cars a day during COVID.
That is crazy.
People were waiting 3 hours in the parking lot to get their cannabis.
Wow. That is crazy.
Dude, it was a
Isn't that when you guys opened up the order online and stuff was during COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
right around then?
we were crushing it.
Yep.
We weren't allowed to do curbside before, but because during COVID, they couldn't come in.
Right.
They opened up curbside.
Right.
So we crushed it. I've made enough money in the industry that I could quit, but I'm goal-oriented. Money doesn't, drive me because, more money just buys you better toys, which sounds crazy, but it's the truth. It doesn't make you happy. Money, I don't care anybody tells you it's rich and they tell you that they're happy. The money didn't make them happy if they're happy.
It's leaving your mark. Tell
Yeah,
people.
yeah. And
that's
it's
what makes you happy.
People come in here and people on oxygen, and some people I thought they were dying, and they come and they thank me, like, Jerry, thank you. They made me cry. I don't cry. I'm not a crier. You crier?
No.
Okay, I believe it.
I'm a crier.
He's a crier.
Yeah, I'm a softie.
No, I don't. I mean,
let it
when
fool
they
you.
come in, and people make me cry. They're like, Jerry, they got oxygen masks on, or they're half died. They're dying. They're like, Jerry, thank you so much for opening this, man. I know you waited like 5 years to open it. And they start crying. I start crying. I'm like, oh my God, will you get out of here?
You see the genuine reaction, the genuine benefits.
Right, and I could
people.
quit right now financially and have no problem. But it's like, I've done so well in this industry. I feel like I got to get back. And if it's helping people, and there's not many people with this message, man. Most of the people that own these stores or these businesses just want money.
They're chasing that buck.
And that's fine. That's capitalism. That's America.
Yep.
But I don't have to do that.
Sure.
I can just run it the way I want. I don't answer to anybody. Financially, I'm fine. This place will run till the wheels fall off. We'll be fine.
You can also pick and choose what products you bring in because it's that. You don't have to be like, well, this one makes me the most
Absolutely.
return. I got to bring this in.
I just bought a grow. Like the quality of the flower in the market here in Michigan is garbage because everybody just wants the highest THC. The nefarious characters in the industry are just growing as much weed as they can.
It's just gotten oversaturated.
Yeah, it's oversaturated. So I bought a grow, and we're gonna start growing all of our own stuff because I some of the stuff we sell I don't like.
Right.
So I'm gonna give people good product.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was talking last night and hearing that you have a lot of local people that have. What was he saying? Was it the organic mechanic?
Oh yeah,
he was there last night, right? And he does a lot.
Yeah,
of,
Max. He's my grower. I actually hired him.
Okay.
I moved him up to Harrisville. I grows up in Harrisville.
Perfect.
Got him a house in Oscoda. To me, he's one of the best growers in Michigan. His
Awesome.
grow shut down. He was working for somebody else that was just trying to make money. Didn't give him the resources he needed. This is how bad the industry is right now. You want to check this out? The grow I bought in Harrisville, I'll put it out there. It was $4 million they put into this grow. It looks brand new. An engineer built it, him and his wife, for all the right reasons, but they didn't understand the industry. A lot of people try to get into this industry thinking they're just going to get rich quick.
Right, I'm going to grow pot, make money.
Yeah, believe me, nobody gets rich quick except lottery winners, and we know what happens to them.
Sure.
And that's what happened in this industry. A lot of my friends made money, they blew it, lost all their businesses, they went crazy. I got one store, we were cranking, I said, I'm good.
Right.
I don't need double the headache. So I bought the grow. It's a $4 million grow. This is how bad the industry is right now in Michigan. Guess how much I paid for it?
1.5.
I was going to say about $1
$750.
Holy crap. Wow.
They lost $3.25 million.
Wow.
They're great people. And you know what's cool about that, though? Is they reached out to me and said, hey, we know what kind of business you run in cannabis. Some other people that are not so good at doing what they do are trying to buy this. We'd like to offer it to you if you want it before they do at this price. And I said, let me come look at it. I went and looked at it about it that day.
That's awesome.
Well, it's funny because I do real estate and I go through all these buildings that people have put outbuildings in, right? Another pole barn, You'll walk in, you'll be like, okay, this was a grow at one point in time.
Yeah.
You can see all the wire, you can see everything. And I'm like,
plugs.
And their house, their house is now for sale for pennies because they were like, we made all this money. Oh wait, we didn't. And I see it so many times.
Everyone jumped on board because they were like, oh, it's legal in Michigan. How can I make money? And they jumped at it. They ran to it.
Listen, I had people coming to me, like these super rich guys, oh, I want to do this with you. I'm like, no. I go, you don't understand the culture. You don't understand. I've made millions of dollars in the automobile industry. I go, it's different.
Yep.
You're just building pieces, man. We've had a culture of marijuana here forever. You just can't walk in with a suit and tie and say, I'm going to put $5 million into this grow, and I'm going to put $5 million into a store, and we're going to be good. A lot of guys did that. LiveWell, a company, $50 million grow in Warren, just shut down. There's
Really?
50, 100 million. Oh yeah, they're all shutting down. $50, $100 million companies.
Well, and it's also crazy too. Is like when it first opened up, it was expensive to get something, and now it's reasonably priced.
It's beyond reasonable, man. It's cheap.
Right.
Because people don't, like, what happened is oversaturation, and like, if you're going to sell it for $1, I'll sell it for 75. I'm going to sell it for a quarter, but you're going to lose money. But I'll be the last one standing. I'm like, you can't raise your prices. It's easy to lower prices. It's like, try raising your prices.
Yep, absolutely.
Man, and
you go over $5 for a beer and people are like,
yes, right. And so people are conditioned now in the cannabis industry, they want everything for free. And it's like, they don't understand that we follow a tax code called 280E, which means it was put in place for Al Capone, because they didn't get Al Capone for being a gangster. They got him for tax evasion.
Correct.
So they created a tax code just for him. It's called 280E. Look it up. I'm considered a drug trafficker by the federal government.
Awesome.
Because it's not federally
Right, but I
regulated.
paid them
Right.
$3 million last year in federal income tax. So who's the drug dealer?
Right, exactly.
I'm the dude on the
Who's
corner.
screwing who here?
I'm flipping the drugs for them.
Sounds
Right.
like tax
while they're
evasion.
taking the money.
They're getting the money.
You know?
Right.
So 280, we can't write anything off. I can't write off my building. I can't write off my rent. I can't write off my employees.
Wow.
Damn.
Every dollar, only thing you write off is cost of goods sold. So I can write off, this pack of gummies, the cost of them, and I might be able to write off the person that did the inventory. So you have to create a shell game of companies to run a business in this industry to make any money. Otherwise, you will make zero money.
That's ridiculous.
But I'm considered legally a drug trafficker by the federal government. But I pay them all the time.
I know a drug trafficker. That's pretty cool.
I did? Really? Don't say his name. I'm like, I'm seriously bet. I'm like, who? I'm like, it's just weird to me. It's like, how can I be a drug trafficker, but I'm paying you?
Yeah,
So-
that's crazy.
So let's touch that a little bit.
Yeah.
So you've been on it for 20 plus years. When does it go federal? Or will it ever?
No, it will, 100%. The
Okay.
genie's out of the bottle. You got 28, let me get these numbers right, maybe 25 or 28 states recreational. There's 38 states legal marijuana. Recreational or medical, I think medical's 13. There's like 25 to 28 rec, the rest are medical. They're all coming. It's not if, man, it's when.
It's when.
And the people that are fooling themselves thinking it's not, like Indiana's not legal. Indiana's legal. There's weed all over Indiana because there's 27 stores in a city called New Buffalo in Michigan, right on the border. 27 brand new
It's just
stores.
right across.
Yes, one store is going to do $80 million this year in sales.
Ooh.
Everybody from Indiana
everyone's coming across the border.
Coming to the border because there's no limit. There's a limit.
It's like the
but
fireworks back in the day.
100%.
Right.
That's
Right.
literally
But
what this reminds me of.
There's supposed to be a limit, and there is, but the way the state has changed the rules, so you don't have a limit. It's 2.5 ounces per transaction. So people will come over. Literally, some of the stores have hotels they bought that were connected to their store because they renovated like a hotel. You come in, your order's big enough. They'll give you a hotel room. You give them the order. They'll pack it all up. They'll sit down with your hotel room, and then they'll ship you
fun.
back through to Indiana.
That's-
How is this happening?
Right.
But it will be. So I'm working on a TV project right now with the producers of Bar Rescue, kind of like a weed rescue where I go in and help remodel dispensaries.
Oh, that'll be cool.
There's so many dispensaries that are shit, and look, I think we run a great shop. We try to make it homey. I don't want a big like Apple store because it intimidates people. It's a new product. A lot of older people get intimidated.
It's very comforting when you
Yeah,
walk
it
in the
has to
door
be.
here.
Yeah.
Everyone's super nice. It's friendly. It's clean.
My staff
It's-
knows their shit. They're
Yep.
not just trying. You want to get high? That's not what we do here.
Exactly.
A lot of my
Yes, I
staff-
do,
Yeah,
but-
right. A lot of my staff have ailments though that are genuine, and people
That they
come with the
use,
same
yeah.
ailment. The staff I have now on staff here, I think I've had them all for 5 years now.
That's awesome.
You know what it's like running a
Yeah,
business. It takes
absolutely. And
while.
to get a good core staff is
Right.
really important, and it's really hard to do it.
Right, you weed out the bad ones.
Yep.
No pun
They-
intended.
no pun
But-
intended.
Right.
They're
right.
in here. Most people are like, oh, I'm going to get a paycheck and get some free weed, but these people care, which is what you want.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So we run a great business. So I'm trying to do this project where we go in and find dispensaries that are this shit, and we renovate them. We help them run a business, and it's kind of like Bar Rescue, but there's much more to it. We take them into, like, I want to educate people because the only reason this stuff is not federally legal is because people aren't educated. Once you educate them on this, they'll have a whole different mindset. And if they don't, then that's fine. Just don't use it. But like, I'll talk to a politician and I'll be like, okay, answer me this. If your granddaughter had seizures or was dying, for God forbid, and you had 3 or 4 neurologists tell you, and I've had parents come in here, our 4 neurologists have told us they've tried every medication. They said, try cannabis. University of Michigan Oncology Department now sends people to us because they see us on the news. When I had a woman in line from U of M, I was like shocked. Because 5 years ago, a doctor wouldn't even talk to us.
No.
So I'm trying to create this TV project so people aren't afraid to come into a dispensary and ask questions. And one of the reasons I was on the corner last summer, and like a 78-year-old little man, 80-year-old woman, they were coming around the corner, and he's pulling her. He's like, come on, honey. She's like, no, I'm afraid to go in there. I'm scared. And I'm going. And they knew I was the owner. I was just watching. He's like, no, honey, I've been in here before. It's nice. I'm like, oh my God, he almost made me cry. I was like, God damn it. And so I was like, wow, I'm doing it the right way. Before when I was younger, I just want to make money. It's a different thing, man. But when you can help people, we give Christmas presents. We do like $30,000 worth of Christmas presents every year. We don't give them away in the weed store. There's an old schoolhouse behind us. It's like a historic site. We rent it out. We have Santa Claus come in. A father came up to me last year and was like, they get like $50, $60 presents. We spent like 30 grand. A guy came up crying, thank you, Jerry, so much for that. I'm like, oh my God. As a parent, you're like, as a father, God, that poor man had to come to me and say thank you for giving his child a $60 present. I'm like, God, but I was glad I could do that.
That's tough for people.
Right,
And
yeah.
the fact that you've gotten to the point where, yes,
You
like
can
you
give
said,
back.
where you said, oh, you're not in it for the money, you're in it to help other people.
Right.
Like you're taking some of your profits from here. Like I've
dude.
seen your videos of you at Costco before.
Oh, yeah.
And your receipts. I was watching the one out here
Yeah,
and
it's right
that
there in the
receipt
video.
printed off, and you just smile on your face the whole time and
like
unload and the look on people's faces that this guy who sells pot is helping them
Right,
out. That's such a
right,
stigma to break, like,
right.
because, like you said, you're the devil to people.
Right, to some
You know
people
what I
I'm the
mean? Like,
devil, which is crazy.
It is.
Because I'll tell you right now, if they needed me, they'd be in here.
Sure.
And you never know when you're going to need somebody. Because when I meet those politicians, I'm like, yo, what if your granddaughter was dying? You'd still say no? You wouldn't even want her to have the choice for a plant-based medicine. Can you explain?
You don't know what's coming from some of these, from big pharma and stuff like that. You don't know what's in them.
Big pharma, yeah, absolutely.
That's
and they say the FDA says, the FDA says that there's no medical value in cannabis, right? And did you know that they just licensed a new, about a year ago, Epidurix, which is an epilepsy medicine, and the main ingredient, the marijuana plant. Yeah, $34,000 a year. If you need that medicine, you could use cannabis for about $2,000 a year and get the same result.
Get the same
So
result.
You can't patent things that you could grow. So
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Right. So that it's all about the money.
And it's only it's inevitable until, like you said, until it's just federally legal.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what
why
I
I'm
mean?
working on
It's
this
gonna
TV
happen.
program because it's about education.
Yep, education.
What
That's
we
it.
do in the show is we go in and help, restruct dispensaries that look like shit inside, teach them how to run a business, but also about the product. We take them into the manufacturing plant. Like we shot the pilot in Denver for husband and wife that, they'd separated because their business was doing bad. They just got back together. I went in and renovated their building, showed them how to run a business. I took them to WANA. Is there a WANA up here? No. So I took them to the WANA headquarters because in Boulder, Colorado, because the woman ran the dispensary, the husband ran the grow. I wanted her to meet another successful woman. So there's a woman named Nancy Whitman. Nancy developed WANA. She started with WANA with $20,000 and sold it for $300 million. and she got her cash because the industry right now is kind of like this, but she got her money. So I took the woman that owned the dispensary we were working with to meet Nancy, and we went into WANA. We showed how the gummies were made. It's not some wacko in the basement like, hey, we're making weed gummies. It was like $500,000 gummy machine, scientists, labs.
Yeah.
Took him in, met Nancy, an established businesswoman who's now on the board because she got paid out, but she's still on the board. Introduced her to another woman. To show, look, these are two women. She's down here, you're up here. She needs to see what goes on here. And then, but at the same time, we take them in the factory and people see how these gummies are made. So we're educating people. We talk about CBN like that quick. Hey, CBN's for sleep. If people can walk away from watching a TV show and understand there's something that's going to help them, they might go in and try it.
Absolutely.
So my goal is to get a show on because television changes everything. People follow the media like crazy. I know the power of TV.
They do.
If we can get this picked up, this could help with federal legalization. It really. And I hope in 2-3 years you'll see this legal.
That's awesome.
See, it's crazy because years ago I found a video. There was a guy who was suffering from seizures, and he came in and he would just smoke and he would stop shaking. And he's like, "I can talk, I can do." And
That's in that documentary.
Yeah, that's probably the one I saw.
He goes, "I take all these medications and it doesn't help me, but it's once I start smoking
And
marijuana, I can just talk normally and it's right on camera." Sanjay Gupta's apologized to the public because he's done 4 of these, and he's like, "I'm apologizing to the public." Doctors don't do that, especially people on TV. No. I was wrong. I was misled because 97% of the studies are to show what the negative effects of cannabis are. 3% of the positive was I saw it with my own eyes. I saw a kid stop having seizures. I saw a person stop shaking.
Right.
This shit blows my mind. That's why I'm still in the game because this needs to change.
Well, so my mom's got stage 4 cancer, right?
Okay.
She was given 3 years to live. That was 8 years ago. Now everything's kind of shrunken on her, but she's on these pills. She can't remember anything.
Right.
I'll be on the phone with her 4 or 5 times. She's like, "What are you doing?" "I'm gonna go do this." "What are you doing again?" And I have to. And I'm like, "Have you tried anything?" She goes, No, I can't.
How's her appetite?
She never eats.
Never eats. Like
Never
cannabis,
eats.
like for cancer patients, the best benefit is not just pain management, but the appetite.
Yeah.
When
The
you
munchies.
want to
Oh,
eat.
yeah. Just wanna eat everything.
She barely eats. I mean, she is shriveled down to nothing, and she doesn't remember anything. And I'm like,
Bring her in. Like, listen, man, bring her in here. She can be one of my bud tenders. It's a 60-year-old woman and talk to her because she might not feel comfortable talking to me,
Right.
or talking to some
Or even a
young
younger
dude.
kid or something.
Right.
Some young hip
We have,
kid that's
we,
want to
right,
get
we
me
have older
stoned.
women that work here.
so like I told her I was coming here,
Yeah.
and I was like, "You really need to think about this." She's like, "I just don't know." She's like, "Everything's going fine."
And the
I'm
thing
like,
is,
it's not
why?
going fine.
The question is why? Because she's
Right.
been brainwashed.
Correct.
Yep.
Like, there's one. This is crazy. A woman came in there a couple weeks ago and had a prescription pad from her doctor that says THC gummies. And I'm like,
doctor, we gotta go there.
I wasn't here, but
I want that doctor.
Right. And they said, "Ma'am, you don't need a prescription." She's like, "I know. I just felt better if he wrote me a prescription." And I'm like, that's how brainwashed people are. She wanted a prescription. I had a lady come in here who had a problem sleeping. She wanted to use CBD. I love CBD, but it's not going to really help you with sleep.
Right.
And I'm like, "Ma'am, it's not going to help you really well. Let me give you a pack of these Wanas." "I don't know how." I go, "Just take them, cut it in half. Always got to start slow and low with edibles. Ramp up, write it down." "I don't know." I talked to her, and what she took them, I gave them to her as a gift. I go, "But you got to call me." I gave her my number. "Call me tomorrow and tell me if it worked." She called me. "Jerry, it was great. I couldn't believe it. I slept like a champion. I go, that's phenomenal. So you can do it again tonight. I don't know.
Right,
I'm
kinda
not
scared,
sure. I'm
right?
like, what?
Right,
You just told me it worked.
And you're not developing a reckless
Addiction,
habit
right?
either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think
Right.
that's what people think is that I'm going to keep doing it. Because let's think back. Remember when you were a
But
kid?
you never get reckless habit on pills, like pharmaceuticals.
For sure,
No, you never,
absolutely.
never that.
But weed, no. You know, do I continue to have the edibles or continue to smoke? It's because I enjoy it and I like how it makes me feel. Whether it's pain, whether it's just I'm looking to get weird one night and have
Right.
fun. Do you know what I'm
What do you
saying?
mean by weird? What goes on when you get weird?
Just get weird. That's what I call it. That's just what I
Don't ask.
Whenever
Don't
I
ask
tell
questions.
people,
We'll be all this out. Don't worry.
whenever we say like, hey, I ask my buddy, I'm like, you want to get high? It's always want to get weird. You know, I got kids, so I don't want to walk around with my kids and be like, hey,
So if
guys,
I'm with you and you're with your buddy, you ask your buddy if he wants to get weird.
we're going to get weird.
Okay,
We're going to smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
we're
I gotta
not
go
going
in.
to do
I'm
kid
out.
shit. Yeah, it's
With him, it might also be. You don't know.
And if it's these two getting weird, I'm out.
no, I'm out too. Trust me.
All right, so we'll wrap up with this.
Yeah.
So what's next for you? And I know it's a loaded question, but
Like,
what's next?
I mean, I'm very blessed. This industry, has been very good to me and my family. I never thought in a million. Like, if you'd have told me 10 years ago that I'd be dropping $10,000 on Veterans Day for taking 10 veterans out to lunch and giving them money to help
Awesome.
make it through, or I'd buy $30,000 worth of presents. Now, I don't. I do a lot of it on my own. Some of the brands, like Ron, is a big supporter
Yeah,
of ours.
absolutely.
If you'd have told me that a couple years ago, I'd be like, "Are you crazy? Where am I going to go with that kind of money?"
Right, and it's weed.
Right,
That's stupid.
yeah,
right? That's silly.
But we've done so well. It's like I would be a jackass if I don't give back, and that's why we give back as much as we can. I want to do this television project because it'll help the industry. I could leave now and just retire, but I can't. That's
not you.
who I know what I do.
Right.
I'd be at home with Corey all the time.
Yeah. She doesn't want that. She doesn't want that. She's excited to be empty nesters. We were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
She's excited.
She's full of shit. But, when the girls are gone, she'd be tripping.
Be bugging you even more.
Yeah. I'm talking about this TV show, man. I'll be on the road. Just kidding. Love you, babe. No, it's like, so it's either, I have some really good partners on the TV project, so I honestly think it might get picked up because Netflix has interest, but Netflix, anyway. So if that doesn't happen, I'm working in Japan again. I'm working with a professor and a pharmaceutical doctor that we might open. They're going to open it. They want me to partner with them because I'm friends with them. Like, they're going to open the first medical marijuana clinic in Japan because marijuana is illegal. Like, over there, joint, you're going to prison.
Right.
When we destroyed them in World War II, we rewrote their constitution. Go figure. Weed was illegal here. Weed was legal there. It was called Indian oil. So America said, no marijuana. The Japanese follow rules to a T. They're way far behind us. They're like 10 years behind us. But everything that's happening in Japan right now, CBD is getting real popular.
Okay.
Medical just got approved. They changed the rules.
You're kind of ground level over there right now.
Yeah, and I know this procedure.
Yep.
And because over there I'm gaijin, which is a foreigner, the Japanese culture is very close. It's hard to get in there. I was like the only white guy working for this big Japanese fight company. So I already know how business is done. I've been working here for 20 years. So no one could come. People came into the industry here late. They wrote our coattails, these nefarious characters. And I'm cool with that. I knew that was going to happen. Never thought it would happen to this degree that they were going to destroy some of the things we're trying to build.
Sure.
Over there, nobody can interfere.
Right.
It'll be Japanese and Jerry the White Dude. That'll be it. Like,
Jerry the Big
That sounds like a TV show right there.
Jerry the White Dude. That should be the name of
Jerry the White
your
Dude.
show.
Japanese weed with Jerry the White Dude.
That's it.
But no, and so I'm considering that. I don't want to. I love Japan. I go 3 or 4 times a year. I don't want to go there every month. Obviously, maybe another store or two. I want one in Livingston County. That's my goal. I don't want any. I've been offered 6 stores yesterday to take over and change them to greenhouses and run them with them. I said no. I get offers all the time to join up with people. No, I don't want to do that. I want to do this myself.
That's awesome.
If somebody can add something to it, yeah. But I just feel like people are coming to me because they want to suck off what we're doing and let me do all the heavy lifting. I'm like, no, you got to work that way.
Right.
But Japan is an interesting opportunity. But if not, Livingston County, I want a store there because we need one. We need one that's run like this.
I agree.
We really do. And mark my words, if I want one, I'm going to get it.
Well, I like that.
Listen, I don't care what it takes.
Sure.
I will smash every one of those politicians that gets in my way, whether it's Heartland, Brighton, Fowlerville, Howell, because they don't know what they're
But that's
talking
also because you're passionate about what you're doing. You're not doing it to just come in there and rape and make millions. And
Right,
stuff like
yeah,
that. You're
right.
like,
I
because
don't
you
need
want to
to.
spread the word. Right.
Right.
You've
And
already
if they don't
expressed
believe
that.
me, I challenge any politician, send this to all the council members and all the cities
Sure.
if you want. Take this step out. I challenge any politician in Livingston County, step in this store and give me 10 minutes. And if I don't change your mind about cannabis, then I'm terrible at what I do.
Sure.
Because I guarantee I'll change your mind. You might not want to use it when I'm done still, but that's fine. But I guarantee you I would change your mind.
There's a lot to have in this one, so I mean,
Not to digest.
think you brought it today.
You did bring it. I mean, right off the top. All I'm going to say is, He's by far a better announcer than I am. And
That's right. He's definitely got that.
He's got the better
strip
voice than
club
I do.
voice. Oh,
yeah.
See, we should have did this high. No, I'm kidding. We'd never do this high.
Who says I'm not?
We could. Oh, you know what I was thinking?
You would never know.
I do, like I said, we are going to take a break. I do want to get some stuff and whatnot, and then we'll shoot the shit and keep going. But yeah, dude, like I said, I had fun today. I love just kind of getting to know the other side of things and just getting it, like you open it up and just kind of let people know that, again, it's not that stigma that's out there. You know, like think about when we were kids. Remember the commercials where people were deflated on the couch?
Oh,
or
yeah.
the cracked
Is your
egg,
brain on drugs?
the cracked egg in the pan. That's what, you know, you were brainwashed to think pot is.
And it's not a gateway drug.
And it's not.
You know,
not at
Sanjay
all.
Gupta said, you know why I said it's not a gateway drug and why they call it a gateway drug? Because what happens is when it's illegal, people have to go to drug dealers. Not legal, not a legal drug dealer, an illegal drug dealer.
Sure.
And when they go there, if they don't have marijuana, they have all kinds of other stuff. Hey, we don't have any weed right now. What's some cocaine?
Right.
Some Adderall? How about some LSD? So it brings you into a nefarious system of all these drugs to get it.
Right.
And if it's not there, or even if it is there, you might want to try something different. You come in here, we don't sell cocaine, we don't sell heroin, we sell cannabis. That's it. So they don't have to worry about, you know, being tempted by some other thing. You know what I'm saying? So
the only thing that weed is gateway to is, like we talked earlier, the munchies. And
Right,
maybe a
that's
little
it.
bigger waistline.
Yes,
okay?
that's it.
I'm cool with that. Like,
That's
I've
it.
been, you know, smoking with the edibles and whatnot. Never once have I been like, you know what? I think I want some heroin today.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Change it up a little
yeah,
bit.
you know, let's throw a little 8-ball in here. Like, what? No, that's not. I
No,
know.
it's usually, you know what? Another plate of nachos sounds
Yeah,
pretty damn
exactly.
good.
yes.
Yes. Some caramel on the nachos? I don't know.
boy.
You don't know what's going to happen. What's going to strike you? You don't know.
Well, with that, Jerry, thanks for having us out.
problem, man.
Appreciate you guys.
Hey, appreciate you guys.
We'll do a little
Awesome talking.
tour and show you guys everything that's around here. And once again, thanks. And
Stop
talk
in,
soon.
say hello, ask questions. You don't have to buy anything, just stop in.
Stop in. Come see Jerry.
You don't know if you don't ask.
Ask him to tell you a story.
Right. If
The
you
guy
don't
will
know,
keep
you
you
don't ask.
entertained.
And we'll put all the information on the back end so you guys can see that and get the address and we'll go from there. So
Absolutely.
let's talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, guys.
Boom. Hotter than Satan's fucking butthole out here. Let me tell you what.
For those of you that are watching, you're going to be watching on, was it July 1st or whatever that Monday is. We film it a week in advance.
Yeah.
So it is currently 145 degrees.
30th. It'll come out on the 30th.
It'll come on the 30th, yes.
June 30th.
We film obviously earlier because I can't film it and get it up that same day. So we do a week in advance.
You can't get it up the same day?
I can't get it up.
Damn it.
Ever. So it's nice and hot today, and I decided to wear black, and Nick's in a dark colored shirt, and we're in the middle of a parking lot because, well, as you heard from Jerry, we can't do a lot of things on their premise because it's so regulated. Which
Yep. And we want to respect that. We
Yeah.
don't want to get him in trouble. You know, obviously respect his craft and whatnot. We're just a couple jamokes out here having some fun. So we moved to the parking lot, shoot the shit, have some fun for a minute, and
Why not?
maybe go across the street and jump in the lake because I am HOT warm.
I'm gonna jump in butt naked right there. Well, that one
Yikes.
canceled for sure.
Well, yeah.
Subscribe to the OnlyFans.
Right.
That's it.
If what Jerry said earlier didn't get us fucking canceled, then your big white ass jumping in Walled Lake definitely will.
It will. So, all right, Jerry, what a story.
I know.
Like what a background.
Right? Like I had no clue he had all of. I just thought he met somebody randomly and he put him in the right connection. But no, that guy's been in the bowels of the MTV stuff, the marketing, the Specs Howard, all that. Like
VH1,
I had no clue that was even a thing.
It's crazy because like that's all the stuff that I dreamed I would have done as when I first started in the entertainment company. Like I would have loved to have had an audition for VH1 or MTV or whatever else. And but yeah, I mean like the stuff that he did I would love to have been an announcer and all the pre-UFC stuff that he was doing because
he was kind of ahead of the game. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like he was in it before UFC really became to what it is today.
Well, to be honest,
and you heard he's like best friends with Dana White, right?
Oh yeah, they love each
They
other.
get along great.
They love each other. I mean, Here's the crazy part about this whole thing is, like, he's been ahead of his time, everything he's done.
And everything he's done.
So ahead of the time when it
Yep.
came to, like, the VH1 stuff, ahead of the time for the UFC stuff, now ahead of the time with the weed industry,
Yeah.
which, you know what, like, there's such a stigma about it. I mean,
It's such a stigma.
So the other day, we were cleaning out our basement. I was going through our old photos, and I'm like, let's get rid of it. And I found an envelope of, like, high school, awards and grade school awards, and in there was my DARE certificate that I passed DARE. And I'm like, well, I feel like I gotta do something with this. I feel like I just pissed on this. So, but because we grew up in that, like, you will never smoke
That it was so
marijuana.
taboo.
It was so bad.
Like we mentioned before, that it was a pot is the gateway, and it goes, leads you to this, leads you to that. Again, like, I'm going to sit there and smoke some pot, and all of a sudden I'm going to want to go out and do coke and do heroin. No, it causes the munchies.
But you know what? He was right. And I think it was bad back then, right? Because
people weren't educated.
Correct.
That's why it was bad.
And you were getting it off of, some guy's backyard where
Right.
he didn't actually maintain it. You don't know what was going into it.
You don't know what's going in.
And it probably was bad. But now, obviously, with all the restrictions, sometimes it's not the best. But with what he's got to do, he's got to display what it will do. Like, this one will make you happy. This one will make you sleepy. And all this stuff. And you get a better idea instead of just going to, some guy around the corner going, I need weed. And it's like, what am I going to do? It's like, you're going to get high.
For sure. And you know what? I didn't smoke when I was younger because, again, I had that ingrained into my head that it was bad for you, this and that. And I did sports and everything, so I didn't want to ever fuck anything up like that, right?
100%.
But it's just like, and also back then when you used to, talking to my friends, when they used to go to get weed, it was like, do you either want pot or not want pot? Now they have so many strains, like you mentioned, that are good for so many different things. Pains or thoughts or whatnot. Like, walking around, it's so overwhelming going into the stores. It's so cool, but so overwhelming at the same time.
I walked in a couple weeks ago, and they're like, what do you want? I go, I don't know.
One of everything. I don't know.
Honestly, they're like, what are you here for? And I'm like, I don't know. Then they're like, start talking about it.
And they're educated. That's the thing is, like, it's not only Jerry that knows his craft, but he makes sure the people he employs are also very educated.
Yeah.
And they are passionate about it as well. Like we talked about, it's good to get a good nucleus of workers, and I feel like he really has that in there. Like, think about it, after our shoot, we were in there buying stuff, and everyone was, what can I get you? Can I grab you that? What are you looking for? Everyone was very informative. They knew their stuff.
You bought, you paid, and you were just waiting for a minute to get your cash, your change. And the lady goes, have you been helped?
Right, like they were on it. It's like, yes, we have been, but like, thank you so much for being on it in there.
It wasn't pushy. It was like we want to make sure you're taken care of.
Right, like, we're not trying to get you in and out of my store. It's, hey, we want to make sure that you're getting the best experience that you can, and that you are being briefed on, what these help for, what they do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everyone has a certain purpose, and there are people who will go in there just to get completely blazed out of their mind and just forget about the world,
Which is also great.
which is fine.
Totally
But then
fine.
some people need to go in there because, hey, I can't sleep because I'm having XYZ. I'm having it, and so obviously this whole thing is it worth a shot? And I'm not going to say yes, I'm not going to say no, because it's up to you as the individual.
Right, we
Do
can't
you
tell
need
you
it?
if, right, we could come on here and some people could see that we came out to this location and that it has anything to do with marijuana, and you might, skip
You're
this.
the devil, like you were saying.
Right, you might not even watch this. Again, it's not for everybody, but it is for some, and, there's just like anything, there's going to be positive, there's going to be negative reactions, feedback, and everything, so.
In our opinions, right, it's worth a shot because it's going to help out those that need it, right?
Absolutely.
If you're just trying to go in and just get blazed and just hate the world and say fuck off, then no, it's not worth it for you.
Right.
But there are reasons for it, and go visit them. I honestly, like, it's the only place I go to, and it's far from my house, but it's like a family in there.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
So yeah,
right?
I mean, so he sat there and he bought the building however many years ago, just waiting because he knew the brand he wanted to build, and he knew eventually everything was going to pass through, and he wanted to be at ground level. And he's there, and you heard all the shit that he's getting involved in. Like, dude, I'm really so Bar Rescue is a show that I've loved since day one. So the
Love
fact
Bar
that he
Rescue.
said and you got to see the trailer, a little sneak peek. I love it. He
I-
thought it was corny because the hook, but dude, it's going to pull people in, and I think it's going to educate people as well as be entertaining.
I'm excited.
I'm excited to watch that. I think that'll be super cool.
As a person in general, Jerry's just a great guy, and we can say that he's not here. He's not paying us to say these things. Like,
He'll see this later.
yeah, he'll see this later and say, like, I hate these guys. But no, honestly, like, he's such a good dude, and you get the stigma of, well, it's weed, it's bad, but Jerry's doing so much for his community. I mean, he's sponsoring the fireworks. He's
Right.
doing the charity for the kids at Christmas time.
Yep.
He's giving back to veterans, and
And he was definitely, there was a lot of pushback at first.
100%.
But then he proved his product, he proved himself as a businessman, as a reliable person to, respect in the community. And people have looked up to him. Again, he shakes hands with the right people and he's doing the right things.
He's a good guy. His staff's great. The business is great. It's just, in our opinion, it's worth a shot.
It's
for
worth
both
a
of
shot
us.
for me. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I will continue, as long as the greenhouse is around, I will continue to support them, and I will continue the friendship and relationship that I have with Jerry and his wife.
And I will hope that they bring something to Livingston County, because
That'd
it'll
be
be so
awesome.
much nicer and easier for us to get to. Well, we're going to wrap it up in case the battery dies, but I do want a quick story. 2 weeks, I know who the guest is. You know who the guest is.
I do.
You know what? You have to tune in to see who it is.
It'll be right after the 4th of July.
It'll be right after the 4th of July, and I'm going to
Long
tell you
weekend,
this.
and we're definitely going to need her.
Yeah, she is going to be a godsend after the 4th of July. So tune in 2 weeks from now. We'll talk to you guys soon.
I think I did. I thought you're the one that introduces, and I thought you do the welcome back. Apparently, I do both.
Yeah, you do
What the
both.
fuck?
That's the only thing. That's the only job you really have.
Oh, thanks, man.
That's Jason.
Perfect. Great. You're not wrong.
All right.
Wow.
Because I sat down and all right. Fuck it. We're done. This
The
thing's
elephant's
over.
not in the room. He's on my
Yeah.
tailgate.
Fuck this.
We're getting canceled after this episode.
That's fine.
I'll tell
You are.
We've been canceled at the beginning, so it's fine anyway.
Yep.
Well, it's been nice. Thanks, Jerry. Glad you were able to be on.
I might be gone too. Who knows?
This has been our last episode. Thanks for hanging out with us. So
Been real, guys.
If you go out blazing.
Yeah,
That's true.
absolutely.
Literally.
yeah, actually.
Yep, blazing.
That's just my soapbox. So I'm coming, Livingston County. Sooner or later, I'm coming.
It's coming for
He's
you.
going to be the mayor of Brighton. We're going to make that happen.
Oh,
I'm
shit.
down. Let's do it.
Campaign starts now.
Let's do it.
Well,
Hey, I got you.
now we're
Here I
officially
come.
canceled.
Here I
Like,
come,
oh
baby.
boy.
Hey.
We're definitely canceled after
Now
this.
we're
one.
done.
Flag.
Plant the
Sorry,
flag.
guys.
Nick's going, we got to cut that out.
Right.
Well, both of our businesses are now shut down. The podcast is officially over. So thanks.
And I'm in the weed business. Let's go.
Oh, great. He went from being, fired from a basketball game to now owning a weed business. Here we
We're in the
go.
weed business. All about who you know, right?
That's it.
You never know. We're good. You're going to be mayor. This is
Campaign starts what's today? The 23rd of June? Let's go. It's a year from now. We'll see where we're at.
Well, this has been fun for all of us. We're done.
He sounds nervous.
Right. He's like, I don't know if I like this.
Listen, you guys can edit this any way you want.
But now it's officially the Nick Show.
There we go. There it is.
That's the running joke. Every time it turns into the Nick Show, now it's Nick's the mayor.
I'm the fucking mayor,
Oh,
baby.
God,
Let's
this is
go.
gonna be
I'll buy a
great.
property in Brighton,
I like
Oh,
it.
and
no.
I'll get on council with you.
I like it.
That's it.
All right. Drinks. All right. Hi, Jake.
Hi, Nicholas. Go fuck yourself, Michigan.
Go fuck yourself, Walled Lake. Let's just do that every week wherever we're at. And then just thinking, and what can he do? Hey, asshole.
Hey,
That guy's got a little dick. Guarantee
tiny wiener. Ryan Marvin?
it. Is that? I feel like such a hillbilly right now.
I mean, we are,
I mean, it's par for the course.
right? To get to.
Oh my God, it'd be so much easier. Right at my back door. Oh God, no.
Well, you heard it here first. Nick's taking it up the back door from.
Fuck around. If we got to go to phone for a minute, we'll go to phone for a minute. Because I don't do the editing, you do. So fuck it.
Good. Good. He doesn't do shit. I do. Heard it here first.
Really do nothing. I am just.
And editing's really easy to do. Days on days on
Yeah,
days.
I do nothing. I come out, I make it all about me, and then I leave.
Welcome back to the Nick Show.
Da-da-da-da. All right,
Good, good.
here comes the. Whoa.
Okay, all right.
It's not like I don't weigh it down too, dickhead.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
You're just extra girthy.
That's what she said.
Nope.
That's what he said.
Never once.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. Oh shit. New segment. All right.
You.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
I am not a small man. Just when I stand next to
Jerry,
you,
me,
Okay,
Chris,
you
Ryan
guys-
Marvin.
I'm 6
Anyways,
fucking 2, dickhead. Like I'm not small.
Hold on, the truck's gonna move.
Oh. Not really sure what we have left.
Okay, bye.
Dick out.